Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Chassidus in the morning, 15 minutes. Learning Inyanah Toras Chassidus. Sorry, fix that a little bit. Okay, so until now, or what we're up to from last class. First of all, this class is for shleimah of Chaim, David, Rafael ben Sarah, and Tzion ben Sarah, and Chaim Baruch, Eliezer ben Raiza, Esther. I want to have for shleimah, and only good. Okay. Don't mind the singing in the background. So basically, we discussed yesterday, and we got into Modeh Ani. Al pi pshat Rebbes and Said. Just to recap quickly, the pshat of Modeh Ani is simply thank you Hashem, and Hashem is back. I'm happy. I appreciate it. The Rebbes, it's into Chassidus, that just like when we go to sleep, it's 1/60th of death. So too, we have this idea of Chassidus, and we see Chassidus clearly every day. We have the emunah in this Chassidus. Then we have that was the Rebbes I was hinting to. Then there's a drush, there's homiletical or expounded. That we see that neshama we get received back again every day, even though we might be owing something to God. But God is not Messiah. He doesn't hold back from giving to us, and He gives it to us. And then we did the Yisai, which is the Kabbalah, which is that Modeh Ani Melech Chai V'Kayam is how Melech Malchus is united. The neshama comes back when Malchus is united with Zah. With Yisod, and that was all this pshat. Now, today we're going to learn the Modeh Ani of Chassidus, which is a murdik of art, and then we're going to start to put that explanation of Chassidus into all the other explanations. See how Chassidus gives light. Okay, Yud Aleph, page 61 in this book. Yud Aleph, Habeir, and now shall be del chelke hapshadrim jushasid. So the explanation above, according to these 4 levels, which also correspond to the nefesh, ruach, neshama, and chaya, shabbatera, the 4 levels of the soul, which is like the 4 levels of Torah. Pratim, they all give a specific detail, be'erach klal gada shabazeh, in comparison to the general concept of Modeh Ani, in the thanksgiving of Modeh Ani. Chassidus comes, which is the Chiddush shabbatera, which is the essence of Torah. And explains the general idea of Modeh Ani. And it's explaining the essential theme, the essential idea of Modeh Ani, which is coming from the Yechidah. Coming from the Yechidah is what this explanation is. It's the essence of what Modeh Ani really is. So what's the Chassidic interpretation of Modeh Ani? It is like this. The beginning of the day is with Modeh Ani. We say Modeh Ani before we wash our hands. Even when you have impure hands. This is, remember, the Chassidic Taich. Even though you have impure hands, you still say Modeh Ani. Why? Because Shekol Hatumais Sheba'elam Einan Metamais is a Modeh Ani Sheyehudi. Because all the impurities of the world cannot contaminate the Modeh Ani of a Yid. Our Modeh Ani is greater than being contaminated. Efshar, it's possible, it could be that we're lacking in something spiritually, that we're not holding where we should be. But, and therefore we're contaminated. Not contaminated, we're impure. But we have a Modeh Ani. We have a place that we're pure, that nothing that we do wrong that could make us impure can take away the Modeh Ani. Modeh Ani is above purity, above impurity. In this idea, let's just expand that idea for such a beautiful idea. So what he's saying Modeh Ani reaches a level, it's like an example we gave before. Let's say Chas v'sholem, a kid, you have a bad day with him and he's behaving wildly and everything's not going well with the child, and you're not in a good mood with them and it's not working out, and you're like, oh, it's bothering me and everything is getting on my nerves. And then Chas v'sholem, something crazy happens, and the kid, let's say, nearly gets hit. It should never happen, such a thing on the road. That what will happen when that happens? You grab that kid, you give him the hug, and all those issues of the day get blown away. Why? Because you're tapping into the core of that relationship that you have with your child. You're one. It's above all these things. It's above all those bad day that you had and all those arguments and making a mess and doing all these things that you shouldn't be doing. You're reaching a level above this, and this is Modeh Ani. Modeh Ani is tapping to the core of who we are, and the core of who we are, we have a core within us. It's totally above anything that we do wrong, any impurity. Purity and impurity are lower levels of us. It's like misbehaving and behaving. A parent's connection to their child is not because they behave. And if you misbehave, we're not connected anymore. You're essentially connected. You should behave. And if you behave and don't behave, your day will be different, better or worse. But essentially who you are, you're one with the parent. The child and the parent, they're one. So to the Modeh Ani. Modeh Ani is a level above impurity because it's a deeper level. I hope that made sense to you guys. But it's a beautiful word you're saying here. But as we see from this idea, that Modeh Ani that is above impurity, and that's why I say Modeh Ani, even when we dime tomatoes, even impure hands, this can only come about. This idea is when we're talking about the Yechidah, the essence. Because Badal Bechina is never Zruch and Neshama Chaya, because we're talking about the lower levels, Shayach Inyan HaPagam, or Gam HaTuma. On those levels, it can't be the impurity. It can't be a blemish. Meaning the nefesh, Ruach Neshama Chaya, is like we talked about before. The nefesh means the way the soul gives life to the physical body. The ruach as it gives life to the emotions, and neshama life to the intellect. And the chaya is above the intellect. Yechidah is like the ratzim. Yechidah is like the essence. And so all those levels, the intellect, the emotions, and things like this, you have a bad day, good day, but the essence is above all those things. So therefore, those on a lower level that can be affected, like your intellect, your emotions, your body, but Yechidah that can't get affected. But the Yechidah, but our essence that is totally connected with Hashem's essence, it's not shaykh to anything, any blemish or anything wrong. And it's always complete. And Rebbe says this is the deeper reason. It's interesting. This is the deeper reason why we don't say Hashem's name, Modeh Ani. In the pshat, the simple pshat, we say there's no Hashem's name to such a low level. But what we're saying here is totally opposite. Modeh Ani is on the deepest level. Because since Modeh Ani is coming from the level of the Yechidah, the essence of Hashem, and the essence of us, the essence of Neshama, the recognition and the thanks of the essence of the Neshama, Baruch is connected to Hashem's essence. The law etafe is b'shem, that it's not grasped by name. We're talking about a level of Hashem that's above name. It's like, for example, I was telling this to my son, we'll learn this a little bit. For bringing about this, I was telling him about the Modeh Ani on different levels. So I explained to him like this. When you're on a desert island, do you have a name? So he's like, yeah. I said, but let's say you're by yourself. Is there anyone do you have a name then? So he's like, oh, well, no one, if no one's speaking to you, you don't have a name. What's the name? Name for something else. A name already describes as other things. When you go above the name, when you're born, you're not born with a name. Because really, a name is the essence. It's coming from above the name is the essence, is an essential place. Just like being by yourself, you don't need a name. Name is not for you. It's for other people. When you're coming to love with just you don't need a name. And that's what we're saying. Modeh Ani doesn't have Hashem's name, not because it's on a low level. It's a Nebach Davening, doesn't have Hashem's name because of Daim Tameos. We're saying, and then that is true mitzad the pshat, but on a deeper level, Modeh Ani is above the concept of name. It's a relationship with God that's way above pagamim, right? Above anything you do wrong. It's totally above everything. And that's why the famous story that this kid, the Rebbe's mother, this kid would come do deliveries, and she said, "Do you have any questions for the Rebbe?" So the delivery boy, so he said, "Yeah, I want to know what's the Rebbe's favorite davening." So, and what did the Rebbe say? Modeh Ani. You think Modeh Ani? It's one line. But here, you understand what the Rebbe is saying. Modeh Ani is tapping in. We start for the day, tapping to the essence of who we are. And this is why this is specifically the Chassidus Shetach. Because all the other levels, being that they're on the level of limited levels in the Torah, they can't explain the essential level because they're not tapping to the Yechidah. We find it even more than this. But Zohar, it says in the Zohar, even though the Zohar is coming from the side, which says it's Kabbalah, Hashem Meinu Mafayid Nefesh Ruach Neshama Neshama. That in the Zohar it gives the levels of the Neshama. They have the Nefesh, you have the Ruach, the Neshama, and then you have Neshama. But the Zohar doesn't talk about the Yechidah. Why? Because because it's sort of included in the Chaya. Because even Kabbalah is not really talking about the essence. Even Kabbalah, but it's not talking about the essential state. It's all limited. And all those other levels, they're not talking about an essential level. They're just sort of descriptive, different details, but not the essence. Chassidus, which is Yechidus, the Chassidus is the essence. So to explain the length, the Yechidah. So you learn Chassidus, you're learning the essence of the ideas, the essence of everything. When you get the essence properly, like we're going to explain, then you can plug it into all the different levels of understanding, and it can give a whole new life to it. Being that the Yechidah, which is the essence of the neshama, from it comes down into the 4 lower levels. Like we said before, like we talk about the oil, that on one hand it's totally above, but on the other hand it also can permeate everything. And so too, the Yechidah is the essence of everything. And that essence, it also brings itself down to all these different levels. The explanation of Chassidus, the Modeh Ani, that explains the essential idea of Modeh Ani, which is coming from the Yechidah. So it gives life, and it illuminates. Also the 4 explanations that we explained before, the Pshat Remesh on the side. Which are only explaining details. So because it's the essence will add into those details. And what we're going to do is we're going to show this, how the Modeh Ani of Chassidus, which is again, the Modeh Ani of Chassidus is that nothing can contaminate the Modeh Ani of Yid. Modeh Ani of Yid is a level above names even. It's the oneness with Hashem. It's this Yechidah. And that's what Modeh Ani of, and that's the Modeh Ani of Chassidus. And now what we're going to do is we're going to explain that concept. How does that fit into the simple meaning of Modeh Ani? The Rebbes Jushin said. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. Mitzvah Hashem. Everyone have an amazing day.
Thank you.